you for tuning into this week's Oregon Minute. This week we are interviewing Village President Jeanne Carpenter. Welcome, Jeanne.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I am doing well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's just jump right into it. What is it like to be village president during such an unprecedented health, social justice, and economic crisis?
Gosh, that's a really big question. So the good news is that I was only village president less than a year than far as all this happened. So this is what I know, right? The good news is that we have amazing village staff who are super professional, continue on in their jobs no matter what, have been very good, very tight with budgets. This year's budget, we have a preliminary look coming up. October, we'll be doing the real work. It looks actually pretty good, doesn't look terrible, but we know that in 2021, 2022, the budgets will probably look a little bit different. State aids will be down, shared revenue will be down. So we are already planning for the next year, the next 2 years, budget-wise. And when you are a growing community, when we're planning a new library, we're going to be talking about other new municipal buildings, all sorts of projects going on. I want to be very careful and very deliberate that we don't stop the steady planned growth that we have going on, but we do so in a really fiscally sound manner that doesn't raise taxes through the roof.
Mm-hmm. And that was going to be my next question and this is where maybe you can get into some more of the specifics of what you just mentioned about the budget. But I was going to ask, what implications might this have on the budget? Not necessarily for 2020, but 2021 and even 2022.
Yeah, sure. So here's the good and the bad part of local municipal budgets. Believe it or not, 70% of our budget is personnel, because really what runs a small municipality is the people that you hire, okay? So we really only have 30% of the budget that we have to worry about. And so that has its pros and cons, right? Because there's fewer things that you can do. You have to be creative in financing. You have to always be looking for shared revenue, for development grants. So I don't know, I tend to be optimistic that Oregon will weather this storm. There's always this Dane County bubble, that people talk about, an economic crisis in the last recession. We're still seeing that. People are still buying houses. They're still building houses. The housing market in this town is still unbelievably wild and crazy. So I don't know, I'm really optimistic and hopeful.
So it sounds like, elaborate a little bit more on what the implications are, or what are some of the potential new municipal buildings that the village is looking into?
Yeah, so as you know, we're working on fundraising for a new library right now, right? And so we have almost $1.5 million in fundraising put together, and the village has committed $6 million to it. This is now, I think we had budgeted $10 million, but let's face it, it's probably going to be a $12 million facility. The plan was to break ground in 2021. I and the steering committee for the new library is working really, really hard to try to get fundraising dollars up to make that happen. I'm super hopeful that's going to happen. In this next capital improvement plan that will be talked about in October during the budget season, you're going to see a proposal from staff, and that's been shared preliminarily that you probably saw, a proposal to build a new village hall / community center / parks and rec building on the west side on the property that we acquired back from the school. I'm actually pretty excited about that. The current village hall is a really cool, architecturally historical building, but it's really worn out. We would really love to build a new facility and then sell the current village hall to some sort of developer that wanted to rehab it into apartments or something. Basically, it just needs to be gutted, but the architecture is super cool. It was built during the 30s, right? And then again, we need a new senior center. Our senior center is small, it's undersized. There's more and more seniors wanting to use it. So all of these things are sort of being blocked in the next 6 to 7 years, and we're working very hard to budget for all those things. And now there's a lot of uncertainty with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. But it sounds like you are and staff are fairly confident that these projects, even though conceptual right now, will hopefully come through.
Oh yeah. I mean, we are making budgetary moves to make them happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then what are some of your personal goals as a leader as we venture into 2021?
Sure. So when I ran for village president, I had 3 big projects that I wanted to work on. One was to build a new library. We're working on that. The second was to attract some developers to develop affordable housing in this town. Our teachers can't afford to live here. Our police officers can't afford to live here. My staff at the Firefly, we actually provide a living allowance for them to live here, because I'm a firm believer that you should be able to live in the community where you work. That's better for everybody, right? So now I'm excited that we actually have 2 affordable housing projects coming down the pike. We'll see a conceptual look at one of them on the September meeting. Lakestone Properties is proposing over 100 apartments for affordable housing. It'll be mixed based on income. Some will be market rate. It's over on the east side, across from the Quick Trip, the Stop and Go, on property that has never been developed. There's a couple of houses there. And so that is marching forward, and I'm so excited. We're working with them to make that happen. And then Habitat for Humanity is closing on their property on Janesville Street, and doesn't really know what they're going to do yet. They had a couple conceptual plans that the neighbors weren't really excited about that involved a bunch of duplexes back there, and it's a single residential neighborhood. So they have pulled back from that plan, or kind of reassessing. But I mean, that will be another affordable housing opportunity. So I'm excited about that. And then the third one was to cross Highway 14 and develop a new business park. We call it the Southeast Business Park. And that is actually progressing. That's probably a 6 to 10 year project, because you have to go through wetland delineations. You have to work with the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission, CARPC. We're working with the landowners, working with the town. We have all the preliminary steps kind of in motion. So I don't know if I might get recalled before that happens, but I'm laying the foundation to make that happen. So things are marching along in this town. It's pretty exciting. I mean, even in the midst of all of the upheaval that we're currently in, we're moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And it appears that way. I mean, even I enjoy covering Oregon Village board meetings. Just the conversations are really productive. You guys get things done. Agreements seem to be pretty unanimous most of the time. And I did see the affordable housing developments, Lakestone and Habitat for Humanity. I have talked to Elise Cruz a little bit about them. She seems pretty excited as well.
Yeah.
So then my next question is, and this is more of a personal one, how do you think the pandemic has helped you evolve as a leader?
Oh my gosh.
Or just all the other upheaval that is going on?
What's the saying? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, so I'll talk first as a local business owner. I can tell you that the month of March and early April really almost killed me. It was, I thought we were going to lose the business. I was trying to figure out how to take care of my 8 full-time employees. I figure, I look at them, they're not my kids, but like they depend on me for their living, right? Mm-hmm. And so Uriah, my husband and I were absolutely determined to stay in business no matter what we had to do with our personal finances, because I built this team and I don't want these 8 people to flail, right? So we did that. We worked with Oregon Community Bank, and we got the PPP loan, and it absolutely saved us. I cannot say enough good things about that program. No matter what the federal government has done since with their lack of kind of leadership on the coronavirus, the PPP program really, I think, I think you're going to see it saving a lot of small businesses because that paid our payroll for 8 weeks. And that was absolutely huge. Because even when you have, and even the businesses that let's say they closed, you still have all these expenses that you have to pay. You have insurance, you have utilities. There's still taxes that you're paying. So personally, it was really, really stressful, but it's also made me more creative. If you ask village staff, I really pulled back from village leadership for about 3 weeks. I told them, I said, I can't focus on this. I'm going to leave this in your hands. I have to go save my business. I'll see you back in April. And they did it. Now I'm back full strength, probably more than they want to see me. I'm constantly calling people like Elise, because Elise is in charge of all these exciting things happening. I'm like, hey Elise, where are we at in this? Because we can't do person-to-person, face-to-face things anymore. So I'm on the phone with her a lot. But it's made me more excited, stronger. I've also been doing a lot of research. I'm taking a class right now called Witnessing Whiteness through the Oregon Public Library. I've been really studying the history of our country, things that I was never taught in school, and shame on me, I never researched for myself. And it's been so eye-opening, and I'm looking forward to becoming more involved with the Oregon Allies. I've told them if you want me, if you'll have me, I'll be in one of your working groups, because we need to do something as a country to address the racial disparity and the systemic racism. We are going to fail and fail rapidly as a democracy, in my opinion, if we can't figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
So
if we can't open up the lines of communication.
Yeah, all the things that we see going on even right now as we speak with protests, we've got to figure it out. And I don't know what the answers are, but there's a lot of smart people, and hopefully we can at least communicate and start working together.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, when you mention Dane County as a little bubble in Wisconsin, I do personally think Dane County has done, at least in its COVID-19 response, has done much more than our certain other governmental bodies. But so when you say it's kind of a bubble in that way, I echo that sentiment. But yeah, I agree. Even as a journalist, these have been some because there's no, and I would imagine you feel this way too, there's really no way to shut it off. There's no way to, perhaps you could meditate or, find some way to be mindful, but there's no way to not confront what's going on right now. And I would imagine that as a local government official and myself as a journalist. And yeah, it forces you to rethink things. But with that, is there anything else you would like to add?
Oh my gosh. I think all of the time about all of the folks who are struggling right now with paying rent, with kids at home. Kids have been home since March from school, and how their parents are going to have to keep teaching kids at school. And I am just, my heart goes out to those folks, because, I was a working parent, and it was tough, and my kid went to school, It was stressful, and I had the luxury of being able to drop my daughter off at a school building and driving away. And we're going to go on, probably 9 months at least of folks having to work, parent, and teach their kids at home. And I hope folks are taking care of their mental selves. I know it's got to be hard on marriages. It's got to be hard on relationships. So that's also something that I think about with our customers at the coffee shop. If people are, coming in and ordering, or even if they're doing the no contact online, We try to say hello and meet people in the eye and just say, how are you doing? Thank you, have a good day. Because for some people, that's like their only contact with someone who, isn't their kids, or maybe it's their only human contact for the day. And so we've been very mindful of that at the Firefly and trying to, we're always friendly with our customers, but really trying to build relationships with the people who are interested, because it's, sometimes a cup of coffee or a latte is like the bright spot in your day. And so we want people to know that we appreciate them, and we're in it together.
Yeah, it's all about finding joy wherever you can, finding those little bright spots, that's for sure. I know that my morning coffee is definitely a highlight of my day.
Me too.
Well, Jeannie, I think that's all I have for you today. So just, thank you for all you and village staff continue to do for Oregon, and thank you for appearing on the Oregon Minute.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Oregon Minute. Tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m.